Letter 551 by Charles Lamb. No date, winter, 1832. Thank you for the books. I am ashamed to take tithe thus of your press. I am worse to a publisher than the two universities and the Brit. Muse. Alan Cunningham I will forthwith read. Barry Cornwall, I can't get out of the ABC I have more than read. Taken altogether, 'tis too lovey, but what delicacies, I like most King Death, Glorious Beauval, The Lady with the 100 Rings, The Owl, Epistle to What's His Name, Here maybe I'm partial, Sit Down, Sad Soul, The Pauper's Jubilee, but that's old, and yet 'tis never old, The Falcon. Felon's Wife, Damn Madame Pasty, but that is borrowed. Apple pie is very good, and so is apple pasty, but oh Lord, 'tis very nasty. But chiefly the dramatic fragments, scarce 3 of which should have escaped my specimens, had an antique name been prefixed. They exceed his first. So much for the nonsense of poetry, now to the serious business of life. Upper Court, Blandford Court in Pall Mall, exactly at the back of Marlborough House, with iron gate in front, and containing 2 houses, at number 2 did lately live Leshman my tailor. He has moved somewhere in the neighborhood, devil knows where. Pray find him out and give him the opposite. I am so much better, though my hand shakes in writing it, that after next Sunday I can well see Forster and you. Can you throw BC in? Why tarry the wheels of my Hogarth? I am worse to a publisher. There is a rule by which a publisher must present copies of every book to the Stationers' Hall, to be distributed to the British Museum, the Bodleian, and Cambridge University Library. ACBC, Alan Cunningham's Maid of Elva, and Barry Cornwall's English Songs, both published by Moxon. This is Barry Cornwall's King Death. King Death was a rare old fellow. He sate where no sun could shine, and he lifted his hands so yellow and poured out his coal-black wine. Hurrah for the coal-black wine! There came to him many a maiden whose eyes had forgot to shine, and widows with grief o'erladen for a draught of his sleepy wine. Hurrah for the coal-black wine! The scholar left all his learning, the poet his fancied woes, and the beauty her bloom returning like life to the fading rose. Hurrah for the coal-black wine! All came to the royal old fellow, who laughed till his eyes dropped brine, as he gave them his hands so yellow and pledged them in death's black wine. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah for the coal-black wine! By the Epistle to What's His Name, Lamb refers to some lines to himself which had been printed first in the London Magazine in 1825, entitled The Epistle to Charles Lamb. See in the appendix. Madame Pasty, Proctor had some lines on Madame Pasta. My specimens, Lamb's dramatic specimens, which very likely suggested to Proctor the idea of dramatic fragments. Under the date November 30, 1832, an unsigned letter endorsed from Charles Lamb to Professor Wilson is printed in Mrs. Gordon's Christopher North, a memoir of John Wilson. Although in its first paragraph it might be Lamb's, there is evidence to the contrary in the remainder, and I have no doubt that the endorsement was a mistake. It is therefore not printed here.